I'm dating a Scorpio named Jake, but his jealousy is starting to take a toll on my life. He questions who I'm with, restricts who I can interact with, and even gets angry when I spend time with friends. Is there any way to regain trust without losing myself in the process?
This isn't a healthy relationship. My partner, Mike, constantly brings up mistakes I made in the past. It's making it hard for me to move forward and trust in our relationship. How do I address this without causing more friction?
Him constantly bringing up past is just a form of manipulation. I've been with my girlfriend Lisa, who's a Leo, for over a year. She's amazing most of the time, but when something upsets her, she lashes out. How can I approach this?
That is the way she is.
You're either going to get scorched earth or less hard.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cassandra Ritter, and this is Tasha Taremi. We're coming to you from Astrodipity, which is an online dating site based on astrology. So the goal is you put in your place of birth, your time of birth, obviously your birth date, and the goal is to match you with people who are compatible with you. So your moon and your Mars and your rising and all of that's very, very important. And to find deeper soul connections rather than superficial random connections. I want to inspire people with this. We are a global site. Our marketing is primarily in the US and now in India. It's open for free for men and women in India right now. And we hope you like it. And we hope you take the opportunity to go on the site and look at your information, punch in your stuff, and get your free report of who you are. You also have the opportunity to have collective tarot readings that are done by Tasha herself. She does that for everyone, as well as you get your horoscope. And of course, if you want a personalized tarot reading, you have to click on Tasha's link, which is there. That does cost money. And if you want your predictions monthly or yearly or anything like that, you do need to be a paid subscriber. But the benefits outweigh the cons to it because you get a lot of stuff. You get a lot of substance for this. The idea is not just to match you romantically, but it could be for your career. It can be with a boss. And the best part is you can meet people that are aligned with you and very, very similar to you in any part of the world you want. So I now have friends that are in different parts of the world because I'm on it, and it's just fun. It's fun and exciting. So on that note, we have a sweet client, somebody who follows us, who's been very, very sweet and loves our podcast, and asked if I would do a little something on Pisces women. Her name is Marshall. So hi, Marshall, from Tasha and I. And I just wanted to read you something that I wrote down for you specifically, that you've got 5 beautiful, beautiful things that are with you directly. So you are deeply compassionate and empathetic. Pisces women are incredibly sensitive to the emotions of others, making them naturally compassionate and empathetic. They have a unique ability to understand and feel what others are going through, often offering support and kindness without hesitation. They are also, so this goes for you, Marshall, very, very dreamy, and you've got an imaginative nature. You are also often drawn to creative expression, whether it's through art, music, writing, or dance. You possess a rich inner world and are capable of seeing beauty and possibility even in the simplest of things. You are very, very romantic and idealistic when it comes to love. You are often in tune with your partner's emotions and have almost a psychic ability to sense what others need. Your intuition allows you to navigate relationships with deep emotional understanding. And the last thing we have for you is that you have a very soft and gentle demeanor, and it makes you a natural caregiver. You are nurturing, always ready to provide emotional support and create a safe, loving space for those you care about. Your gentleness extends to both their actions, your actions, the way you and they speak, and you also love animals as much as Virgos do. That's for you, Marshall, and it's the truth. And now Tasha's going to go on about our Libra season. We are coming to the end.
So we are closing out the end of Libra season. So I wanted to just highlight some of the amazing traits of Libras. Libras are very balanced and fair. They like to avoid conflict, but they're also very focused on balance. This makes them really skilled negotiators and mediators, both in their personal life and professional life. They're also very charming and sociable. They are like social butterflies. This ability makes people very comfortable to be around a Libra. It makes them very comfortable and feeling valued. So it also often makes the Libra very socially appealing. So they have a higher social status because of this. They're also very romantic and relationship oriented. They're ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love. So they are very romantic and they place a strong emphasis on relationships. They seek deep, meaningful connections and are often happiest when they are in a harmonious partnership. Love and compassion are central to their lives. They are very artistic. Libras are super artistic. They have an eye for beauty and art. They're drawn to aesthetically pleasing environments, whether it's fashion, interior design, or the arts. They have a natural eye for style and love creating beauty in their surroundings. They appreciate beautiful things. They can be indecisive and people-pleasing at times, but this also is a very positive attribute as far as their analytical side. They're very analytical, so they think through any decisions that they make, which is pretty amazing. So to me, that is a positive attribute.
Absolutely. Right. And they are ruled by Venus, right? So
yes,
it makes them the sort of the queen or the king for that matter in the zodiac when it comes to love.
Definitely.
So we received a lot of emails. So now we're going to go on with the emails and I guess we can, alternate. Dear Astro Divas. So I'm Samantha, a Cancer, and my partner Matt is a Virgo. We've been together for 3 years, but I'm starting to feel emotionally neglected. He prioritizes work over everything and often dismisses my feelings when I try to express them. I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the relationship on my own, and I'm afraid of building resentment. How can I communicate my needs effectively without creating more distance between us? Your thoughts?
Well, Virgos are analytical. So a Virgo, if you approach a Virgo and you have an analytical conversation about how the relationship is affecting her. So as a Cancer, she requires more love, attention, emotional interaction. And if she approaches him and says, look, I value this relationship. I respect and appreciate your devotion and hard work to your career or the financial security, the stability in the relationship. But we need to come to some sort of compromise because I really need some emotional validation in this relationship.
Right.
So if she has that open communication without being accusatory, but factual, I think the Matt being a Virgo is going to be more open to analyze what she's communicating versus being reactive on an emotional way, but come to him from a very analytical sense. He's going to receive that well. And hopefully he will be willing to compromise, maybe a date night once a week, maybe, hold her hand when they're in public, whatever it is that she needs. I feel like he's more apt to, compromise with her. What do you think?
I agree with you completely on this. I happen to believe that Cancers tend to be more want to be together. Virgos value independence and freedom and space. And she really, really needs to open up about how, that for her, that's something that bothers her and hurts her and makes her, maybe she feels that she's not loved or he doesn't love her as much as she loves him. But it's all about expression, like you said, and being open and vulnerable and having some sort of date night and trying to come to a compromise, because they seem like a good fit. there's something that's making her feel that way. And unless she expresses that, but not in a reactive way, like you said, it might push him away, because Virgos can feel suffocated sometimes by water signs, any water sign. So she's got to approach it in an analytical way, like you said. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Did you want me to take the second one? Okay, so the second email is, "Hi, Astro Divas. I'm Jessica, a Gemini, and I'm dating a Scorpio named Jake. We've been together for 2 years, but his jealousy is starting to take a toll on my life. He questions who I'm with, restricts who I can interact with, and even gets angry when I spend time with friends. I've tried to reassure him, but it's never enough. I'm feeling suffocated, but I love him and don't want to lose him. Is there any way to regain trust without losing myself in the process?" Do you want to weigh on this one first?
Well, sure. If First of all, Jessica, you said is a Gemini, right?
Yes.
I understand he's asking her questions and he wants to know who she's with, but I don't know the age. I wish they would have told us how old they were. It's very typical for Scorpios to want to know the details. They're like earth signs in that sense. They do ask where you're going and who you're with and things like that. And I personally don't have a problem, because I'm like that. Like, it's not because I'm trying to grill you. I just happen to be curious. And for me, it's not a bad thing. However, because he's getting angry that she's spending time with friends and things like that, I think that is not, this isn't a healthy relationship. So my input on this is that I think she should reconsider. I don't think this is something you should have a conversation about at this point, because clearly she's reaching out for help. She doesn't want to lose him, though. Is there any way to regain trust without losing? I think she's already lost herself in him, to be honest. Right. I really do. I think the fact that he gets angry when she spends time with her friends is not healthy. I think spending time with your friends is healthy. They shouldn't be your priority in a relationship. The relationship should be the priority. But I think the fact that it makes him angry it's just not healthy. There's lots of people out there in the world, and unfortunately, we all don't want to lose the people we love, but she's already lost herself. That's
right. I agree. And for the simple fact that there's no reason for him to have mistrust would say to me that there is an unhealed wound from the past that he hasn't addressed. So he's projecting that wounding on his current relationship with her. This is not fair. To try to confine her, put her in a box. And that's what he's trying to do. You're not allowed to see your friends. You're not allowed to be away from me. That's not a healthy relationship. That's more of a codependent dynamic where he needs her to be next to him at all times. He needs a lot of healing. And I also feel like she may need some healing from this relationship herself, because like you said, she's already lost herself in this dynamic.
And she's a Gemini, and Geminis, like Virgos, they need their independence and their freedom. And it sounds to me like she is the only friend he might have. And that could be why, because this is jealous of her. Mm-hmm. It's not love for her. It's jealous.
Exactly.
Yeah. The next one is, "Dear Astro Divas, I'm Nathan, a Sagittarius, and I recently started seeing Katie, a Pisces. My last relationship ended badly after a betrayal and resolved anger and trust issues. Katie is wonderful and patient, but I find myself constantly doubting her intentions or expecting the worst. It's affecting my connection with her, and I'm afraid I'll ruin this new relationship. How can I let go of the past and move forward with her?" Aw.
He needs to go to counseling by himself. So he needs to resolve these issues on his own, so that he can come to this relationship healthy and healed. This is not something that he should be involving her with. I feel like this is his own healing from that past experience that he needs to address in order to give this relationship a fighting chance. That's how I feel.
Right. Hi, Nathan. Well, I'm a big believer in and you heal through relationships. And it sounds to me like you found someone that you truly, truly care for, and you're very aware of what could potentially affect the relationship and maybe ruin it. So it sounds like you're trying to grow and you're trying to heal. And like Tasha said, maybe you could get some counseling on it, or at least talk to her and be very open and be very honest about the triggers that are happening. And hopefully if she loves you the same way you clearly love her, that she's going to understand and help you through it. Because that's what two people in a relationship do. They understand one another and they accept what someone else is struggling with and try to help them feel more comfortable with it, so that, he can heal and realize, oh my God, she's not going anywhere. She's not leaving me. I am okay. I am safe. Because it sounds like he loves her. So yeah,
Yes.
Or you can seek counseling if that works for you, and that's an alternative, but you should express it to her, because it sounds like you two you both have a chance here. Really good chance.
I agree. So the next one is, hi, Astro Divas. I'm Chloe, a Libra, and I'm dating a Leo named Alex. We've been together for over a year, and one of the biggest issues in our relationship is that he never admits he's wrong or apologizes. Even when it's obvious that he's made a mistake, he finds a way to deflect or justify his actions. It's causing a lot of unresolved resentment on my end. How can I address this with him without causing a major argument or hurting his pride? This is a masculine energy that is lacking emotional maturity.
Absolutely.
So
a million times over. I wonder how old he is. Yeah.
I don't know, but when you are with someone that refuses to be accountable, that's only going to get worse. She needs to set boundaries. She needs to have a heart-to-heart conversation. And if he is not willing to address these issues because it stems from wounding, this inability to be accountable, then she needs to walk away, because this is only going to get worse. And I don't think she's going to be happy. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. She's asking, how can I address this without causing a major argument or pride or hurt his pride? Well, you're not going to address this without causing a major argument or hurt his pride. You're just not, because he already doesn't take accountability. So
Right.
if he's already like that, and that's why she's saying, what we don't want you to tiptoe around him and go, well, honey, this might have happened. No, that's not what we want. We want you to have your boundaries, and you should be able to open up and say how you feel, and it will hurt his pride. So agree with Tasha.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
No. I do want to take the next one.
I'm sorry. Dear Astro Divas, I'm Brian, a Capricorn, and I've been married to Sarah, who is a Cancer, for 6 years. Last year, she had an affair. And although she's apologized and wants to work things out, I'm struggling with trust and betrayal. Every time she goes out or even talks to someone new, I feel a knot of anxiety in my stomach. I want to trust her again, but I don't know how to get there. Is it really possible to rebuild trust after such a betrayal? And if so, how do I start? Do you want to go first?
So I would say it is possible, but rare.
Yeah.
And the only way for that trust to be rebuilt would be through her actions to prove that there is trust there. And it's going to take a very long time. So, and even still, it's going to be rare that he's ever going to really be able to trust her. And if she's still going out, she's still going out. So it's like, what is she really doing to prove that he can trust her?
You're totally right. The fact that she's still going out is, I know if it was me, and listen, we all have insecurities. There's not one of us who doesn't have an insecurity today. We're not all perfect. We're all flawed. We all have things to always work on. You're always going to be working on something. But the reality is, if I put myself in his situation and the other person cheated on me, and I was married to them, and they cheated. You know how I feel about cheating, and that, it's very, very rare that people do change, but people do. And maybe she's totally remorseful and everything. But I would expect, and this might sound controlling, or this might, the kind of actions I would need to make me feel secure, and it's through repetition and consistency that you will start to heal, which takes time, would be that she isn't going out anymore. And that's not fair to her, unfortunately, but that's what I would need to repair that. In his case, I would need not to always have this constant, where are you going? What are you doing? Oh my God, is she doing it again? So it's unfortunate. He will have to go through that, or she might end up being bitter and feeling that he is trying to control her or something, when that's not the case. He's trying to heal her.
Right.
And there's no other way to get through this but to see her actually not do the same things that she did before. There's no other way. You have to, she's got to be the one that does things. Even if it's not her anymore, she has to do it for his sake, not for
Right.
her. She's got to think about him right now to prove to him. And she does. She needs to. He shouldn't just have to accept it. It's in the past and be done with it. It's not.
No.
Yeah.
I agree. There has to be a change in the behavior.
Yeah. And it's going to take time. And even if it means not being yourself and doing things differently for his sake, well, it's his turn now. You want to prove it? Then, sorry, do something that you would not normally do. Stay home.
Right.
For
Right, exactly.
until you start, making him feel safe again, and then start gradually being open.
So the next email we have is, I'm Erica, a Pisces. My boyfriend, Nick, is a Virgo. We've been dating for almost a year, but lately he's been constantly criticizing my decisions, my appearance, and even the way I express myself. He says he's just trying to help me improve, but it's really affecting my confidence. I love him, but I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around him. How can I express how this makes me feel without him becoming defensive? This is emotional abuse.
Yeah. Can I just say something? Like, why would you want to be with someone who picks on you, and why? Like, why?
No. Someone that has to knock down someone else's confidence is because they lack confidence within themselves. And then they're using it as under the guise of, well, I'm just trying to help you. A loving partner will build you up, will not demean you or knock you down. That is a karmic relationship.
What happened to the people who sit there and look at you and go, oh my gosh, you've got the cutest nose. Oh my gosh, I love the fact you're so strong. What happened to people just focusing on all the amazing things rather than, I don't like this about you? And by the way, I just want to say that in my opinion, somebody else has piqued his interest, and he wants her to be more like that. Or
he's trying to knock down our confidence to get her to leave, so he doesn't have to be the one to leave.
And that happens better. To a lot of people, their way of getting out of relationships is by making you feel horrible about yourself, hoping, that's going to get you to walk away, and then they could put the blame on you. So yeah, I
would say to Erica, there is someone out there that will love every single thing about you,
every last piece, and always be, oh my God, you're so cute, even when you're angry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Struggling to set boundaries with my emotionally needy partner. I'm Lauren, a Taurus, and my partner Max is a Cancer. We've been together for 2 years, and while I love him deeply, his constant need for reassurance and support is draining me emotionally. I'm starting to feel like his therapist rather than his partner, and it's taking a toll on my mental health. I know he's not doing it intentionally, but I'm afraid that setting boundaries will hurt him or make him feel abandoned. How can I communicate this in a loving way?
So first off, she needs to let him know how it's affecting her and that she recognizes that he has some wounding that he needs to address. I would say be loving and supportive and encourage him to go to counseling so that he can get these issues addressed. That if he feels abandoned or upset by her communicating, that's just another reason why he would need to go to counseling to be able to deal with whatever it is that's making him feel so insecure. This is something he needs to address on his own that she could support, but she's not his therapist. He needs a therapist.
Right. Or is it possible just that their love languages are completely different? Because he might need words of affirmation and things like that. I'm surprised because it is a Taurus and a Cancer. So not knowing their other placements, which is really, really important. This one's a little harder. I wish we had more details on it, but because we're getting one side right now. All I can say to that is that, Cancer is really, really, really like a lot of validation. They like words of affirmation. They like to be together. They like togetherness. There's a lot of beautiful aspects to a Cancer being like that. It's a question of whether you like that or not. A Taurus tends to be not that way. It depends on the Taurus, but Taurus is typically don't want to get all mushy, sappy together. They don't need that. They can be on their own easily, or they can sit there quietly and with you and watch television all day. Like they can go both ways. A Cancer wants that connection. They crave that connection. So I feel like there's not enough information on this one. So I'm just going by what she said. That's all. Yeah. It's you next.
Okay, so the next one is, I'm Kevin, a Virgo. I've been with my girlfriend Lisa, who's a Leo, for over a year. She's amazing most of the time, but when something upsets her, she lashes out at me with harsh words and a raised voice. I've tried talking to her about her temper, but she always ends up apologizing briefly and dismissing it as just how she is. It's starting to affect my mental health and make me question our future together. How can I approach this without making her feel attacked or escalating the situation? Well, you're going to escalate the situation because she's got anger issues.
Yeah, she's got anger issues. And I'm going to say something else. She's a Leo. She's a Leo. I don't care. I know a lot of Leos. I'm part Leo, a lot of Leo, actually. I'm not like that, but I have two Leos in my life. And that probably is the way she is. If she's telling you that is her makeup. That is the way she is. That's the way they are. Very, very reactive because Leos love with all of their heart and put all of their energy into someone. And they're so all about you. But it takes a very small thing to make them react. And that's because they're fire. And fire signs react that way. And unfortunately, Virgos and fire signs together, any fire sign, it's either a win or a loss. It's one or the other. It's going to be one or the other. You're either going to get along, and I can take this through experience, me being a Virgo, but I'm just as much a Leo. Sometimes you get along with the emotional side of a Leo, but when they go off, they go off. They just
this is what I would say, that the fire and earth, you're either going to get scorched earth or a lush garden.
I love it. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's you or me.
I think it's you.
That was good. Yeah. Hi, Astro Divas. I'm Julia. I happen to be a Scorpio, and my partner, he happens to be a Libra. Scorpio and Libra. Put that together in your mind. Mm-hmm. Has a very toxic family. His parents and siblings constantly undermine me and our relationship. Okay, so David has the toxic family, making rude comments and crossing boundaries. David tries to keep the peace by not confronting them, but it's causing a lot of tension between us. I don't want to come between him and his family, but I also can't keep enduring this treatment. how can I handle this situation without damaging our relationship? May I on this one?
Go ahead.
For me, and this is my honest to God advice. There's other people out there, and someone's toxic family, if they're not going to make you the priority and they're choosing their family and they're going to put you in that situation over you and your relationship, there's a billion people out there. There's more than a billion people out there. Please get away from that. Don't try and fix this. Your relationship is going to get worse and worse and worse. You're going to end up feeling hurt and you're going to suffer from this. And their family has nothing to do with your relationship. Has nothing. His family has nothing to do with your relationship. Nobody's family should be interfering. Just like people's friends shouldn't have an opinion. You know what? It's about you two. And if you guys are good together, it should be only about you two. Nobody else's opinion matters.
Right. It sounds like he's still trying to please his family. He's not making her a priority, and he never will.
And it sounds like to me, he's toxic then, like his family. And if you come from a toxic family, you know what? That whole thing where you're not toxic like your family is when you can remove yourself from that toxicity. You don't stay in. You don't stay in it. Family or not, doesn't matter. You don't stay in it.
I agree. So the next one is, hi, I'm Carolyn, a Cancer. I'm starting to realize that my relationship with Tyler, who's a Pisces, has become very codependent. We rely on each other for emotional stability, but it's becoming unhealthy. Whenever he's upset, I drop everything to make him feel better and vice versa. We've been together for 3 years and I don't want to lose him, but I know this pattern isn't sustainable. How do I break this cycle without hurting him or jeopardizing our relationship? There has to be more to this story.
No,
because being emotionally supportive is not codependent. You know, and that's not the way I read that.
And codependent it isn't always a negative thing anyways. There's lots of literature out there about how codependent can be a beautiful thing. It's on how you interpret that. And to me, it sounds wonderful. If you're putting each other first like that, is it maybe that she's becoming tired of the relationship? Because
I don't know if it seems as though one is dumping more emotional baggage than the other, is what it feels like. There's an imbalance in the emotional baggage.
Whenever he's upset, I drop everything to make him feel better, and vice versa. They both do. And like you said, there has to be more to this because it doesn't sound bad to me.
No.
So far, it sounds very, very healthy and healing. And in time, you guys won't do that anymore. That's what I think. Unless you're having second thoughts and you're just sort of tired of the whole thing.
Right. Which it could be. I mean, I'm sensing that she's giving more than he's giving, that she's always the emotional punching bag and that he's offloading on her. And that's the problem. Because if it's equal, vice versa, then she wouldn't be having this discussion.
Right. Yeah, I feel right. So now we're going to get into emails that were just addressed to myself and Natasha. So I can start and then I can go. Okay, so the first one addressed to me was, hi, I'm Rachel, Cancer, and my partner, Mike, happens to be a Scorpio and constantly brings up mistakes I made in the past, even though I've apologized and made efforts to change. It's making it hard for me to move forward and trust in our relationship. How do I address this without causing more friction?
Well, first, this is manipulation to get what you want. So him constantly bringing up past is just a form of manipulation. She needs to set boundaries and say, you are either forgiving of whatever mistakes I made and we're moving forward, or we're not moving anywhere. We're not going anywhere. This relationship's not headed in the right direction. So she needs to set firm boundaries and stand her ground. He's relying on her guilt and her remorse to manipulate. And that's not healthy.
He likes it. Yeah. He likes having her. Yeah. I also think that If you made mistakes, the fact that you've owned up to them and you've talked about them or thought about them or anything like that, if you want to let it be in the past, that's exactly what you should do. Mistakes should be in the past. Sometimes you need to rebuild trust or things like that. But if he keeps bringing it up, it'll never work. It'll never work if you keep rehashing it. At some point, you have to say, okay, we're both not going to rehash whatever mistakes were made. And let's try to go forward and hopefully hope for the best, right?
Right.
So handling my partner's substance abuse, dear Cassandra, I'm Lucas, a Virgo, and my girlfriend Asia is the Pisces. Jen has been struggling with alcohol for the past year. I want to help her, but I'm scared of pushing her away or making things worse. How do I approach this conversation without making her feel attacked? Lucas, she is lucky to have you. People always need someone. I used to work in this field. It's very important to me. It's addiction is not a pretty thing, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people go through things alone. It's not something that's going to be easily fixed. The fact that she's got your support is amazing, because it's not easy to be in a relationship with someone who has these issues, and you should really try to get her to want to get help and think about rehabs and things like that. Talk about rehabs, maybe offer to go away. But on the flip side of everything, you can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. And you might actually get her angry and have her lash out and things like that. And in that case, for your own sanity and for you, if this is not what you do and you're not a drinker or anything like that, I would have to say, you'd have to walk away at this point for you if she's not willing to see how much you're there for her and your support for her.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, simple, eh? Mm-hmm. Hi, Cassandra. I'm Clara. I'm a Libra, and I think my boyfriend, Ethan, a Leo, is using emotional manipulation to get his way. Whenever we have disagreements, he shifts the blame onto me and plays the victim. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if he's truly manipulating me. How can I gain clarity? Hi, Clara. I wish we had more information on this because I'd love an example of how he's using emotional manipulation to get his way. And I'd love to know your age. I get that he is a Leo and that you're a Libra. Leos don't tend to manipulate. It's not something, love to know his chart. But if he is using emotional manipulation, why? I would think that you should call him out on that. I would think that you should say, hey, this is how I feel and this is what I think you're doing. And from that, his reaction will tell you a lot. And what he has to say would tell you a lot. I feel like I truly need more information on this because I can't tell you whether it's manipulation or not because I don't know what's being said to analyze that or to get. What are your opinions?
Well, if he's always deflecting blame, that's someone that lacks accountability. And I would say definitely that would be a sign of manipulating the situation because he doesn't want to be accountable. So she needs to call him out on it for sure.
Right.
And have a heart-to-heart discussion. If he blows up about it, then that's not someone that is emotionally mature that you can have a mature conversation with. So she may need to cut her losses and walk away.
But because she's not telling us what's going on, saying that he's always deflecting everything and placing the blame on her without a situation or without telling us how, I mean, for all we know, what he's saying she's doing. And
right. Yeah, we need more information.
Yeah, definitely. Dear Cassandra, I'm Matt, a Taurus, and my partner, Jenna, a Gemini, keeps breaking promises, both big and small. It's making me question her commitment and reliability, but I don't want to sound controlling. How do I address this without creating more distance? Promises are a big deal to me. My promise is my bond. If she's breaking big and small promises, you need to address this. Hands down, you need to address it because it's very hurtful. And how do you know what promises in the future would be broken? Consistency, promises, your commitment, all of that's very, very important. Maybe it's because she's just not that interested. That's what I come up with right away. It's highlighted in front of me. What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like if she is breaking these promises, then it just shows that she has a lack of investment into the relationship.
She's
So
not that
after, yeah, if he has this heart-to-heart conversation and points this out to her, and if the pattern continues, then he just needs to move on. He just
Yeah.
needs to move on.
one promise is one thing.
Yeah.
Big and
Pattern.
it sounds to me like she's not. Hi Cassandra, I'm Emma. I'm a Leo, and I have serious body issues that have been affecting my self-esteem and my relationship with Ryan, a Libra. I want to feel confident and secure in myself, but I'm struggling with comparing myself to others. How can I work on this while still being open with my partner? Hi Emma. From both of us. Well, we can all understand this. Women in general, girls in general, it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm sorry to hear this, and stay positive. And I hope that you remain in good spirits all the time and keep on trying to tell yourself, that you're worthy and you're lovable and things like that. I recommend talking to Ryan and expressing how you're just struggling, and maybe getting some kind of counseling to help you, or get into a group, even if it's social media group, about self-esteem and your image, being a woman and being a girl, and how difficult it is, and how you're constantly wondering if your boyfriend or your husband or your other half loves you or sees you in a different light. This is really about you, and you need help. You shouldn't even be worrying about your relationship with Ryan. Ryan's probably there, and you might be overthinking this. But what you need is support, because this is a very common thing that most women go through, most girls. In fact, all of us have gone through at some point in our life, and you need to know that you're worthy. So this is something you need to work on, and including Ryan is wonderful. And clearly he's
Right.
still with you. So, but this is something you need to go into for yourself, by yourself, like a group, some kind of therapist, or people who are going through the same thing as you, to show you that you are valuable.
I agree. And there's a lot of videos, even on YouTube, that
Yeah,
you can
good idea.
get a lot of insight. And I do think it's important for her to recognize, where did this stem from? Was this due to a past relationship that was abusive? Did this start in childhood? So that she can address where its origin is. And
And it probably is childhood.
Yeah.
And it probably is, just something that you've been with for a very, very long time. But I will say that we've all gone through it, and we still do.
right.
Even, who is it? Jennifer Lopez, I'm sure, still has issues. Really, like,
Right.
yeah. My partner's workaholic nature is destroying us. I'm Nina, a Scorpio. My husband, John, a Capricorn, is a complete workaholic. He rarely spends time with me and the kids, and it feels like we're drifting apart. I want to address this, but I'm scared he'll get defensive or dismiss my concerns. How do I talk to him without pushing him away? Well, Nina, I definitely think it's a Capricorn's nature to want to provide and secure and stabilize his environment and make sure his family feels safe and have money for the future. Capricorns are forward thinkers. Some of them, not all of them. There are some Capricorns that just aren't there, that are completely the opposite. But in this case, you obviously need to speak with them and you need to tell them, I'm really, really worried. This is your husband. Try to get him to maybe accept planning a date night, or let's play a game together. How about we play a game or go out to a restaurant together? Something different, though, than what you've been doing, because you need a change. You can't keep doing the same thing you've been doing. That's clearly not working. And so rule of thumb is do something completely different, and that will add a little bit of spark back. But just remember something. Some people have been known to walk away from relationships with people who are workaholics, who are genuinely just trying to provide for their family and things like that. And then they go back and they regret it because then they don't have that financial or emotional stability that they had. So you got to be careful with this, because this is something you've got to ask yourself. Can you understand where he's coming from with this, and talk to him about that, and make it a point to find a way to spend some quality time together to get that spark going again.
I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, she obviously knew this was how he was when she met him. That's probably what drew him.
Exactly.
Him. That's so, right. I think it's going to require compromise on both of their parts, for sure. Right.
The next one is, hi, Cassandra. I'm Megan. I'm a Pisces, and I keep finding myself in toxic relationships where I'm taken advantage of or emotionally abused. I'm scared that something is wrong with me, or that I'm attracted to the wrong type of person. How can I recognize the red flags and break this cycle? Well, the reality is you do recognize that there is something in you and that you keep attracting the same guys. There's clearly a pattern and you're self-aware, and that is step one. So that is wonderful that you are realizing that. The next thing you need to do is, first of all, never, ever, ever, when you meet a guy, never go with the same kind of character. Try to start changing the people you're dealing with or talking to or communicating with. This is something you really have to take a step back and go deep within to find out what is making you so drawn to certain types of people. You need to heal the parts of yourself that are attracting these kind of men in the first place, because something is not getting healed. And usually you are supposed to heal within relationships, but you're not doing any of the healing. You're not doing any of the work when you're in the relationship. So you're getting the same guys that take advantage of you because you clearly are not putting up the boundaries for whatever reason to stop that. You still want that. You still want to be, it's almost like you want to be abused in some sort of way. So I'd work on my self-esteem and really try and get to the bottom of that. Maybe get some therapy. I know that's not the answer everybody wants to always hear. Read some self-help books. Watch some videos on improving your self-esteem, and also look into what the red flags are. One of the red flags are if, for the other side, men that always want something from you. If they're always wanting and taking advantage of you and everything, that's pretty obvious right there. So are they just taking from you, or are they giving and taking? And is there an equal give and take? But if they're just taking, that should be a red flag in itself. If they're too busy for you during the day and their excuses, I'm sorry, I'm at work, or sorry, I just had a long day, I didn't have time. Well, that person's really not that interested in you in the first place, because somebody who's truly interested will always have time. And somebody who clearly wants to be with you, or wants to get to know you, or wants to start a new relationship with you, they are also going to probably give more than they're going to take. So the very fact that they're taking from you and you feel taken advantage of in the first place typically isn't, that should be a red flag in itself. That's just some of my thoughts.
No, I agree. I feel like she needs to take time alone, not in a relationship, to focus on her healing. Also, I get the sense that she comes in like a lamb, like a vulnerable little lamb, and gives complete vulnerability, everything, dumps it, everything that she possesses in the relationship. And instead of doing that, she needs to come in like the lion and give energy in equal parts to what's given to her. So she's going to give and match the energy that's given to her. And through allowing the other person to prove by way of their actions if they're worthy of her giving more. But it always has to be matched.
That matched. Title, match this, babe.
Right.
I've only got 3 more. Hi, I'm Lily. I'm a Libra, and my boyfriend Nick is a Taurus. He gives me the silent treatment whenever we argue. It leaves me feeling confused and hurt, and it takes days for things to go back to normal. I want to talk to him about it, but I'm afraid it'll make him shut down more. How should I approach this? Oh, sweetie, I've been there. And I'm also responsible for doing this sometimes. And it's part of my Virgo in me. But it's not the right thing, that's for sure. All you can do is in this situation is express yourself and express how it's hurtful and how it makes you feel actually worse. Sometimes we grow up with habits that aren't necessarily the best for other people, because I don't do it to hurt people. It's just natural for me sometimes to shut down rather than express myself, but I do work on it. I am aware of it. Maybe making him aware of it will be a good thing and will help you guys resolve this. And hopefully you can work this out, and hopefully he can go, you know what, you're right. It's not mature of me. It's something that I shouldn't do. It's not fair to you. It takes a person realizing that, though, for them to change that. Maybe this isn't malicious on his side. Maybe it's simply this is the way he is. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I would do is just try to talk to him about it and tell him how it makes you feel.
I agree. Definitely.
Sorry, where did I go here? Okay. Hi, Cassandra. Oh, no. Yeah. I'm James, a Gemini, and I recently discovered that my wife, Sarah, Sagittarius, betrayed my trust by hiding something major from me. She wants to make amends, and I want to work this through, but I can't shake this feeling of betrayal. Can trust really be rebuilt? And if so, how do I start? James, trust can be rebuilt, but it takes time. It really does take time. And if it's something major, like you said, and I don't know what you're referring to, whether it's cheating or gambling or financial or any of the above, it can be rebuilt. However, both parties need to work at it together. She has to be understanding of your feelings, that you've been hurt, and that now you've got to reset trusting her all over again. And that may take her changing certain ways that she does stuff. And she has to be accepting of that, because it's trust is not just given now all over again once it's been broken. You can't just rebuild it in 1 minute. You just can't. It really, really does take a lot of work at that point, because it's unfortunate. Yeah, you know what's really unfortunate? When people get together, they build this beautiful relationship. They've been together for several years, several months, whatever it is. And then somebody goes and breaks all that with one simple thing. And it's so unfortunate, because they don't realize the work, how far they came, the work that it takes to rebuild all of that is huge, because now you've just changed the way you think of that person. And there were no blemishes before that. about that person. You saw them, you put them on a pedestal, they're your one and only, and now they've gone and they've changed the way you think of them. And that's something that you have to decide. Is it worth saving in the first place? Or do you want to start with someone who's got no blemishes to begin with?
Right. To me, it's like a risk. It's like high risk with little return if the trust is broken and you've invested, say, years into someone, and say there was infidelity. The risk is too great when they've already, destroyed that trust. The reward, there's no little reward in comparison to the risk, because they were willing in 1 second, in one moment of gratification, to destroy what you took years to build.
Yeah. It's such a shame, eh? Yeah.
It is.
It's such a shame. I believe this is my last one. I'm Anna, a Capricorn, and I've been struggling with anxiety and depression for years. My partner, Kyle, is an Aries and tries to be supportive, but he often dismisses my feelings as overreactions. It's making me feel isolated in my own relationship. How do I make him understand what I'm going through? Well, hi, Anna. I just want to say that you both have, there's points for both of you here, because honestly, it's hard. You're very lucky to have someone who's been with you for years. If you're struggling with that, not to say it's your fault or anything, but it is hard for the other person to handle as well. So some people can become dismissive or have trouble dealing with other problems, issues as well. And so you've got to factor in that you're both dealing with a lot. It's not an easy thing to have mental health issues and be in a relationship for you, but also for another person. It's a very, very, very hard thing. I think it's something both of you need to talk about. If you are feeling worse because of the way he makes you feel, he dismisses things and everything, then maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship. But I'm more concerned about him, because if you do struggle with anxiety and depression, my hat's off to people who are in relationships with people that suffer from this, because they do really try hard, and they can get impatient or become avoidant or things like that because they need their space. Just because for people who have mental health issues like that, they tend to always be in crisis. And that's right. A lot for someone to take on. It's a lot. So I think that the only thing that can help you guys is not you actually having a conversation with him or anything like that. I think you'd actually have to go to a therapist for this and ask what kind of tools from a certified therapist can help you both be more be okay with the fact that he needs his time and the way he is and his ways, and be okay with that rather than completely dependent on how he's with you. And or at least give you the advice to move on and maybe not be in a relationship, because it might be too much for someone else, and maybe you're better off on your own. So I think a therapist is needed in this case.
I 100% agree. Definitely. He can't be responsible for carrying the emotional baggage continually, every day, day out. There has to be some sort of responsibility and accountability on her part to get that help that she needs.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Like an addict, the same kind of scenario there.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm just going to read a few of these because we run pretty far into the time. So I'm just going to do a few of these. Okay. The emails that I received, the first one is, my partner's narcissism is destroying our relationship. Hi, Tasha. I'm Emily, a Cancer, and I'm dating Jason, a Leo. He's charming, but I'm starting to see signs of narcissistic behavior. He constantly talks about himself, dismisses my feelings, and expects me to cater to his needs. I love him, but I'm losing myself in the relationship. How do I protect myself without causing a huge blowout. First off, what I would say to you, Emily, is if you have had a heart-to-heart conversation, you have spoken your truth, you have brought this to his awareness, and you have set boundaries, and he is not willing to go to counseling together, change these behaviors, these patterns, you need to get out of this situation. This is not going to change. It will only become worse. Narcissism is a horrible problem in a relationship. And you will lose yourself because a narcissist will constantly push you to continue to validate them, whatever it takes for you to validate their own insecurities. And so you will definitely lose yourself. You need to save yourself and run.
Right. I agree. There's nothing to add to that. No, I agree. Run.
It's terrible. So the second one is, I'm stuck in a loveless marriage. Dear Tasha, I'm Carolina Taurus, and I've been married to Greg, who is a Capricorn, for 8 years. We barely communicate. The love and passion has faded. I don't know if it's worth fighting for anymore, but I'm scared of the idea of starting over. How do I decide if it's time to leave? You've already decided. There is no passion. There is no love. So basically, you're holding on to a friendship in the guise of a marriage or commitment just for the security, which is not fair to either one of you. She needs to, be real with herself and her partner. There is nothing left but the security, which is a friendship, really.
I think it's very easy for me to say this is one of those cases where, your marriage is over, and it's been long over. And I think out of being fair to both of you, it's time to start the healing process, and a divorce is needed. Sorry to say.
I agree. No, I agree. There's nothing left. What are they holding on to? There's no love. There's no passion. There's nothing.
When you write that in an email, you're so done. You're past that.
Right.
So
right.
you're making this linger on now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So the last one I'm going to read here is, it says, "Hi, Tasha. I'm Lauren, a Gemini. My boyfriend is James, a Virgo, constantly criticizing me from my appearance to my career choices. It's starting to wear me down, and I'm feeling more insecure every day. I don't want to lose him, but I can't keep feeling this way. How can I address this without making him defensive?" You have already lost this. What are you losing, actually? You're losing your identity. You're losing your self-worth staying in a relationship. So what are you really losing? That's the way I feel. That's not real love. Love doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't at all.
No. So she needs to recognize what is real love. What does real love look like? Real love doesn't wound, demean, criticize, control, dominate. That's not love. That's not love.
And I did want to point out to everyone, because I've been thinking about a lot about something that was said last week. No, it doesn't wound. It doesn't put you down. It doesn't do all those things. And not just that, what's very important in a relationship, and this I want to leave everyone with, is also there is a difference between honesty and transparency. If you have someone who's honest, example, "Oh, what'd you do? Where'd you go today? Or what did you buy from the store? I bought this and this and this." And he left out a chocolate bar. And then he said, "Oh, I bought the chocolate bar." That's honest. It's not honesty that people need in a relationship that builds trust. It's transparency. And there's a huge difference with transparency. And that's how you know if there's red flags at the beginning of a relationship or in the middle of a relationship. The person will be transparent. At that point, when you're meeting that person, if that person's already putting you down, things like that, or criticizing things, that's them being transparent. And you should know yourself whether it's something you want to put up with or not right then and there, whether to continue down the road. If I was to give everybody a piece of advice as we're leaving us, don't go for, the word isn't honesty, and that's what you need. Of course, everybody values honesty. What you need is transparency. And if you've got someone who's coming in transparent and they're showing you who they are, by their words, their actions, offering you, hey, I was here today, you're never going to have issues with doubting. You're never going to have to ask them, hey, where did you go, and have them lying to you. You're never going to have to feel like you're not enough, because they're obviously being transparent and not putting you down or saying, oh my God, I don't like what you do for a living. All of those things. Transparency is what people need in a relationship. That's how you build trust. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree.
So on that note, Astrodipity will be back next week as usual. And myself and Tasha myself and Tasha are really happy to be here with you. Keep sending in the emails. Send them to astrodivas@astrodipity.com. We hope you check out our site. We look forward to being back. And make comments on our videos as well. And we'll be happy to address you like we did Marshall. And if you want to be a guest on our podcast, do let us know in one of our videos or email us once again. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
All right.
Us.
Bye-bye.